Let us discuss passage number 10 of the paper. It says the citizens of Greece are not the only ones who have been watching the tense negotiations between the new government in Athens and the European Union. Not just in Europe, but also everywhere in the world. This most skirmish part of the battle in what may turn out to be a protracted war between democracy and finance. For this struggle is not really about whether Greece should continue with its fiscal austerity program or about the contradictions of remaining within the Eurozone. It puts to test one of the more critical questions of our times. This is important. What critical questions of our times? That can elected governments actually take measures to fulfill their promises to the people in the face of opposition from global finance and its agents in establishments? So this particular line is very important as it very clearly says about some critical questions that are being put due to this whole thing. The second paragraph then gives us some background information about the same, due to which this all is happening. And the background is related to the Eurozone crisis that broke around 5 years ago, and due to which the economy of Greece suffered unmitigated decline. This decline was in the form of unemployment that increased dramatically. In fact, the youth unemployment almost reached a point of 50%. These high rates of unemployment persist even though the labor force has shrunk, with bright educated people leaving Greece in ever larger numbers and discouraged workers with little or no prospects of employment simply abandoning the search of jobs in the country. The final paragraph then talks about fiscal austerity program which was imposed by the hated Troika, that involved massive cuts in public sector jobs and even elimination of all sorts of public services in the country. This has dramatically worsened the quality of life in Greece and has even led to public health crises such as diseases including malaria and HIV/AIDS. Apart from that, there were some social effects also that were very frightening, such as rising inequality and incidence of crime, violence against migrants, the emergence of extremely right-wing and neo-Nazi groups like Golden Dawn. Let us have a look at the first question now. The negotiations between Greece and the European Union hold greater significance than is apparent. Yes, this is very clearly stated in the first paragraph itself, where it says that not just in Europe but also everywhere in the world, people are watching with bated breath this most recent skirmish, part of a battle in what may turn out to be a protracted war between democracy and finance. So yes, this is a correct statement, that it definitely holds greater significance than what is apparent, because people everywhere around the world are waiting for this, are watching with bated breath this particular negotiation. Elected governments have often failed in keeping promises due to external pressures. Well, this is also related to the first paragraph, where it talks about the line that I told you that is important. Elected governments actually take measures to fulfill their promises to the people in face of opposition? Well, here it's just a question that is being posed. It's not making any statement that government has failed in keeping promises due to external pressures. We do not know whether government succeeded or failed in keeping promises. We are just told in the passage that it's just posing a question. It says, can elected governments actually take measures to fulfill their promises? We do not know whether they can or they cannot. Therefore, this is an incorrect statement. So the answer will be option A. The fiscal austerity program has wreaked havoc upon Greece. Yes, the last paragraph talks about fiscal austerity program, and it tells us what were the consequences of this particular program, that it involved massive cuts in public sector jobs, and then it led to elimination of all sorts of public services, also dramatically worsened the quality of life in Greece, and even led to public health crisis. So yes, the effect of fiscal austerity program has been very bad. So this is a correct statement. The austerity program needs to be curbed to a large extent. Well, this is a passage that talks about some of the facts. We nowhere in the passage we are given any opinion of the author. So wherever you see a question or a statement that that has some sort of opinion, you can straight away eliminate that, because the passage does not say what should be done or should not be done. It's silent on that. It is just giving out some of the facts. So you will nowhere see in the passage that this austerity program needs to be curbed. Yes, we know that this austerity program has been very bad for Greece, but still the passage does not say that it needs to be curbed. So therefore this cannot be the correct answer, as the passage only talks about the consequences of the fiscal austerity program. The Troika is deliberately acting against the best interest of Greece. This word deliberately here renders this statement incorrect, because it is nowhere mentioned in the passage that that Troika is deliberately acting against the best interest of Greece. Yes, it is true that the actions of Troika are hurting Greece in a very in a worst manner, but nowhere it is directly stated that it is doing it deliberately. So we cannot say that this is a correct statement. So therefore our answer will be option A. What is the central theme of the passage? The economic crisis in the Eurozone. Well, this is just a background given to us, like we have already discussed. This has been discussed in the second paragraph, where the author gives us the background of the whole situation. So this economic crisis in the Eurozone is simply a background, so it cannot be a central theme at all. Greece's effort to put an end to the fiscal austerity imposed by the Troika, well, this has not been spoken about. No efforts of Greece as such has been spoken about in the passage. The passage only tells us about the consequences of this fiscal austerity, but it does not talk about the efforts of Greece on the same. So therefore again this is also an incorrect statement, therefore it definitely cannot be the central theme. The war between finance and democracy. Yes, this is very well stated in the first paragraph itself. If you refer to the first paragraph, it very clearly mentions that it puts to test one of our more critical questions, and this whole statement renders C as the central theme of the passage, because it is very clearly here also mentioned in the line before this particular line, which says that what may turn out to be a protracted war between democracy and finance. And this whole passage revolves around this only. The impact of fiscal austerity on Greece. Well, this is just a result of the crisis between finance and democracy in Greece. The impact related to the fiscal austerity. So this is also not a correct statement. And even if you look at option B, I told you that this is an incorrect statement, but these efforts are only discussed in the first paragraph, where Greece is now trying to bring on some negotiations between the new government and the European Union. So if this effort is being spoken about in this particular option, we can say that this is incorrect, because this is again not the central theme of the passage. Let's move on to the next question. Consider the following statements. Diseases are spreading like wildfire in Greece due to elimination of public services. This has been discussed in the final paragraph, where it says that massive cuts in public sector jobs and wages and compression and even elimination of all sorts of public services. This has dramatically worsened the quality of life and has even led to public health crisis. So yes, this is related to elimination of public health services only, that because it very clearly says that this has dramatically worsened the quality of life and led to public health crisis and diseases. So yes, we can say that this is a correct statement, because this is due to public elimination of services only that diseases are spreading like wildfire. The number of unemployed youth in Greece is more than the average in Europe. Well, we have been told that number of unemployed youth in Greece is about 50%, but has there been any comparison with the Europe? No, I don't think so, because if you read this line, it says with youth unemployment almost 50%, and that's it. There has been no comparison made as such. So therefore this cannot be a correct statement, because there has been no comparison made. Thus the answer will be option A.